Today is a day about beginnings and endings. In the life of Bethany Christian Church, we celebrate the end of the year in ministry with an annual meeting. And we once again want to thank Louise and family for the turkey and fixings, and to Kate for the rolls, and Dawn, and also those who baked pies. We come to share in a wonderful feast at no cost. As Jack Richardson says, every morning when we greet each other at the beginning of the day, it can't get any better than this. No, Jack, probably not. We are indeed a blessed church filled with talented and gifted leaders and volunteers. We feed the hungry, and there have been a lot of them lately. We hear their stories. We see their brokenness right when they enter the doors. We engage in studies and discussions about faith and issues that affect our world. We send children to camp. Last May, we were acknowledged once again by our regional minister as being one of the top 100 giving churches to our Disciples Mission Fund, which serves people here in Nebraska and around the world. We adopt families at Christmas, and we buy winter clothing for children at Mickle and other schools who need a pair of warm socks, gloves, stocking hat, or sweatpants. We offer hospitality and a place to meet for local organizations such as Scouts or people struggling through addiction and addiction recovery. What you see is the Recovery at Work's new banner that they just posted last Tuesday, so that they can, as they meet around the table, know that they are in solidarity with 24 other Recovery at Work groups around the nation. Our outreach team is focused on serving individuals dealing with mental health issues, addiction, and recovery through the support of 4 local agencies. We had a back-to-school drive for children in Norwood Park, which is a school with high needs and limited resources. Our women held a huge fall craft fair, and proceeds went to mission. Through the building improvement campaign, we continue to make interior and exterior improvements that add to the safety and the preservation and quality of our life together here at Bethany Christian Church. And we even took a group of adventurous people to the Holy Land and to Israel and Italy for 12 days to learn and to sightsee and to play together in the land where Jesus grew up and the communities in which he ministered. That's just a beginning. We had a great year in 2019, and there is so much to be thankful for. Thank you, leaders, volunteers, teams, committees. Thank you, congregation, for your generous support financially as we end the year with a balanced budget. It's a challenging time to be church. I think you know that. Many churches struggle to keep their doors open. But here at Bethany Christian Church, we are poised to open the door to 2020, to a new decade of ministry. It's exciting, filled with unlimited potential and possibilities. There will be joys and celebrations. There will be new people come into our midst. And yes, there will be grief. And we will lean on the support and love of God as we encounter those times. The slate of new leaders and officers has been proposed. A new budget has been set. All we need is your approval after we eat. In today's first lesson, from the first chapter of Luke, we find Zechariah's song inspired by the birth of his son John the Baptist. beginnings. It is the beginning of a new age. Zechariah sings of the themes of Luke's gospel, which are God's faithfulness, God's way of peace, God's salvation for the people, and not only Israel, but all of the poor and the oppressed peoples throughout the Roman Empire. Luke's gospel was first heard by people of the Roman Empire. A brutal and power-hungry regime. And we hear in Zechariah's song the beginnings of two people, Jesus, whom will be called the Christ, and John the Baptizer. And both Jesus and John will live in the way of God and not in the way of the emperor. In the second lesson from the end of Luke's Gospel, chapter 23, verses 33 through 43, we find the narrative of Christ's crucifixion, endings. And Luke will juxtapose these passages, the power of the Roman Empire and the power of Jesus Christ. Rome's power is earthly, it's violent, and it poses a severe threat to the people. And Jesus is tortured and hung on a cross in a way that is meant to be humiliating. How dare the people call this one the Christ? That is a title reserved only for Caesar. The soldiers further mock Jesus as he hangs on the cross, as he is powerless, and they laugh at any claims to authority that have been made about him. And we hear Jesus speak twice in this passage from the cross. And both times we hear Jesus speak, we hear him speak about love, about mercy, about forgiveness. The Roman Empire seeks peace through the use of force, but the peace of Jesus Christ comes through forgiveness and hope. Today is the last Sunday of the Christian year. Here in church, we don't follow the calendar year. We follow the liturgical year. We begin in Advent. Next Sunday, we actually begin 2020 in the life of the church. And on this last Sunday, we recognize who's in charge. It's not Caesar. It's not any rulers of the present world. It's Jesus, our Christ. It reminds us that first and foremost, as a people of the Christian faith, we pledge our allegiance not to a nation, not to a flag, not to anything else but the way of Jesus our Christ, the way of forgiveness, the way of hope, the way of love. And we bear the name Christian. Christian means Christ follower. And we are called to embody the way of Christ in our words and in our actions, the way of compassion, the way of forgiveness, the way of nonviolence, the way of resistance to the powers that are in oppression to God or in opposition to God. And we do this, church, with a deep trust that our life is sustained through our connection, not to empire, but to the source of life that we call God. Beginnings, endings. Opening the door to 2020. Exciting time. An exciting time to be church. And on this last Sunday of the Christian year, we acknowledge who is really in charge of us. Jesus, our Christ. And we remember that his life came at quite a cost. Jesus was a victim of a Roman cross in a very turbulent time. But as we know the story, the cross does not have the last word. In fact, the Apostle Paul, after Jesus had died, said in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, God's power has been made perfect in weakness. And we struggle to understand what that means, especially here in the first world. But God's power has been made perfect in weakness. And so the gospel of Jesus and the community that formed around this gospel taught the virtues of humility and charity and compassion and kindness. That, Bethany Christian Church, is who we are. Those are the values that we live by. And we know that sometimes there's a lot of risk and cost in living out those values. The way of Christ sometimes comes at a cost. So, church, here we are. We're standing at the door of 2020, and we're knocking on it. And very soon, it's going to be open to us. May we understand on this last Sunday of the Christian year how the reign of Christ, how in following the way of Christ can transform not only us, but the world around us. We are living examples of that way. We offer an invitation to you to come and be a part of a community that seeks to minister the way of Christ, the virtues of charity and kindness and compassion and humility and forgiveness to the world around us. Won't you come and be a part of that community?